Okay, so what is going on, you guys? It's Sunday, May 26th, and I just want to guess kind of quickly go over my first month of trading. So I just wrapped up my first month of trading before mid-May, so I'm gonna go over my experiences so far. I use interactive brokers and I use Trader Workstation. So I'm just gonna kind of show you my live report for my realized summary, as well as go through my biggest losers and a little bit of my mentality behind it. And maybe I could just use this kind of as a gauge of progress, and I could just do this, maybe make it a monthly thing. So if you do like it, let me know. Give me a thumbs up, and let me know if you'd like to see more of this type of content. Okay, so as you see here, I started off with 2,700 in cash, and that's 2,700 US. So I ended up having about 3,800 Canadian that I put in, and the reason that I was at this amount actually was because I wanted to be able to short, and I think every time it went below around 2,500 US, I had problems shorting. So these are in order of alphabetical order, the stocks that I traded. As you can see, plenty of losses. So over the course of the month, I had $638 in losses, and it's pretty steep considering the account is 2,700. By the way, this was for the period of April 12th to May 10th. And yeah, so 638 bucks. What does that actually end up coming up to? 638 divided by 27. $23% in losses. Let me actually make sure that's actually, sorry, no, that wouldn't make sense. I think the realized losses is in Canadian dollars, so it would be 638 divided by, and the reason I know that this is the losses in Canadian dollars is because it has my forex for US dollars, the conversion. So that's how I know that the currency is in Canadian dollars. So we'll use the 37.87. So roughly 16.8% in losses in my first month. My reaction to this, obviously, it stinks my pride, but this is my first month trading, and just based on everything that I've heard to do with trading, this type of thing is typical. I'm happy I did not completely blow out my account, although I did have some close calls. So as you can see here, the biggest losses stand out pretty hard. So I have Twitter. Took a 185 loss on Twitter, and that's 10% of my account right there, damn near 10%. PHUN 101, 5% in a single day, and I was pretty much my stop loss, my risk, maximum risk was about 1 to 2% per trade. So as you can see, things just completely shit went left here. What else do we have here? So I think JD 43.78. So that is the third worst. So a couple over 100, and the next one is under 50, and the rest of them are under 40, I'd say. So I'm gonna go over the two trades that not completely blew up my account, but just completely set me off balance with regards to my portfolio. So we'll start with the PHUN, and I think I do remember PHUN. It must have been the first day of trading. So first day of live trading. So I started live trading on April 12th. Yeah, it was my first day of trading. So, my first day of live trading. So, first day actually trading with real money, and this is what happened. So, let's see what happened here. Okay, so these are all my trades for that day. So as you can see, PHUN, and let's just see what PHUN actually stands for. PHUN. So that's Funware, a software company. So what happened with them? Okay, so you see here, PHUN didn't even really have an original plan. I didn't have no numbers set in here. So I was looking for a. This is just reading off my notes. I was looking for a cheaper stock with big gaps I could get a nice profit from. Tried scraping around price, and this share wasn't shortable. So when I bought expecting jumps, it fell and it had huge pullbacks. I took a huge loss, almost 5% of my account. Emotions high on this one. So also one thing that I recommend doing is always record your emotions. Trading psychology is such a huge part of this game. So yeah, I guess this was the first day. I guess I might not have had the full 2,700 that day, because I guess I realized that I couldn't short with the amount I had that day. So I probably had added more during the week. So anyway, so I couldn't short it, but I was trying to scrape around the price. I was expecting jumps. So I was trying to play around the little movements. So as you can see here, this was from 941 to 948. I played this stock. Bought, sold, bought, sold, bought, sold. I bought it for 10.50, sold for 10.51. That's only $1. So I pretty much lost money because of commissions. Bought for 10.90, sold for 10.68. Took a loss there. 22 cents loss. And since I was only doing 100 shares, that was a $22 loss. And then I bought 75. Well, I bought 100 for $10.50. Sold at $10.01. So I took a 49-cent loss there. So that was another $49. So this is all US. That's why it might not add up if you were to actually go and calculate this. 49 here, and then another 22. But after conversion, that's how I ended up with the $100 loss. So let's go through the chart here. Okay, so this was before I was able to actually start. I figured out how to show my trades in the chart. So excuse me if my trades don't show. So I was really trying to play around this whole area. As you can see, it's going up, down, up, down. I was, I guess, trying to scalp it. I was trying to buy every time it took a dip, and sell every time it jumped up. But my strategy just wasn't working. I was either too delayed, or I just wasn't making the calls right. Actually, these are the 5-minute bars. So let's go to the 1 minute right here. Okay, there you go. So 940 to 950. It was right within that block where I was trying to take these trades. So yeah, as you can see, there's a long wick. So what happened is every time I had bought, I was buying probably at the high of these wicks, and the sellers would just push it down. And then I just kind of ended up taking losses. I was getting emotional. I just kept adding to my position. So that's what happened there. And then The next one was Twitter. Now Twitter was more interesting. Twitter was more interesting. So Twitter was actually a 2-day process. Twitter was something where I ended up holding it overnight because I took a loss so bad that I just did not want to let go. Completely amateur mistake. You know, I'm day trading. You're not supposed to be holding on to stocks overnight when you're day trading. So this took place over April 23rd to April 24th. Okay, so let's go to April 23rd. Okay, so Twitter bought 40 shares at 37.30, added more, so I averaged down at 37.10. Then I sold them at 37.43. Then I shorted it, so I sold 50 at 30. No, sorry, yeah. Then I shorted it, so I sold 40 at 37.80, and 10 more at 38.20. So again, this time I averaged up. So Twitter, my explanation, I gave it a 2 out of 10. First, it was a 6 out of 10 because my strategy was there, had slight pullback. Then I went long using 20 EMA support, and also fundamentals. So there was fundamentals was high earnings for that day. And seeing if it would test the pre-market open. The problem was I pulled the trigger way too early on the sell because I was afraid of a pullback, and I could have made over $50 profit at this point. Hindsight is a bitch. So I had brackets here. It touched 38.50. I got in at 37.30. So, okay, so I see what happened here. So I had bought 50, 40 for 37.30, 10 for 37.10, and I sold for a 13-cent gain on 40 of the shares, and the other 10 was like a 33 cent. So that ended up being $8.50 gain. So I actually gained. I was actually in the green at first on this position, but I made the mistake of so continuing here. I made the mistake of another big mistake I made is when I went short on the assumption that it was moving quick, wouldn't necessarily break pre-market open and hold it and have some big pullbacks. I was relying on scalping the pullback. It just kept going up, so now I'm holding it overnight to see what happens. I even have here, this is not good, over $70 in losses right now. So at this point, I was almost at 5% of my account gone. And yeah, let's go look at the candlesticks and just extrapolate exactly what happened here. So as you can see, I bought here, averaged down, another amateur mistake, sold early, another beginner mistake. I couldn't identify the trend, and it was overall bullish sentiment, so I sold here. Then the biggest mistake I made was I fought the trend. There's a clear trend forming. It broke the previous resistance, and it just kept going up. And I guess this is a mistake that I've been making all month. I'm still making a mistake. I kind of see what I want to see, so I just assume, okay, if it went like this, if I went up and down, how much higher can it go? It has to come back down again. But looking back at it now, if it broke the resistance, it could literally shoot for the stars at this point, which it did. So now I'm holding it overnight, and this is the next day, April 24th. Decided to close my overnight position with Twitter after seeing the analysts raise share price at $40. So this was earnings season. It posted positive earnings news. Yeah, April 24th. Let's search up Twitter, April 24th. Yeah, so April 23rd was the day of the earnings report, and then the next day was kind of just the snowball effect of it going up, and just a reaction. So yeah, April 23rd, April 24th. So yeah, the next day, April 24th, I decided to close my overnight position with Twitter after seeing the analysts raise share price at $40. I thought this meant the fundamentals will cause it to go up again. At the same time though, a part of me knew that sellers would close their position, but I chose fundamentals over trader psychology. Paid a price and went revenge style. Kept going down. If I had kept my overnight position instead of closing and going long, I could have brought down my losses from 99 to 60. I held it overnight for a reason, but bailed when I got scared it would go up. I wasn't even thinking, should have stuck to my guns and waited for a sell-off to minimize losses as originally planned, 0 to 10. Okay, a lot of red flags here. So I thought this meant fundamentals will cause it to go up again. Taking fundamentals in day trading, fundamentals, the more I do this, the more I realize fundamentals are not that important. Another huge red flag. Fundamentals over trader psychology. Again, the more I do this, the more I realize trader psychology is such a big part of this game. Like, you need to understand, you have all these people who are trying to make money, so it's best to get in their heads and see what their next move is, so you could go with it rather than trying to go against it. Then paid a price and went revenge style. Okay, revenge style. Anything with revenge, anything with emotions, bad. Okay, so let's go take a look at this. So I had bought back the shares for $39.80. So as you can see here, it started to converge. I bought back to cover my position from the night before, from $39.80, and when I last shorted it, I was shorting at $37.80 and $38.20. I took a $96 loss from that overnight, from buying it back what I had shorted. So it went up to $39.80 after I had sold for $37.80, full dollar, and $38.20, about 60 cents there. Then I went and bought more at that price, the $39.80. Then I sold at $38.96, over 80 cents on $50. So that's another $40 right there. 42. Then keep in mind, these are all US dollar amounts, and what it ended up being, the realized value was 192 Canadian dollars in losses. So I bought to cover my position from the day before. Then I bought more, thinking that it was gonna go up. I followed the fundamentals of the analysts raising the price to 40, so I'm like, okay, it's gonna go up to there. But I wasn't thinking. I took that information and weighed it more heavily than the fact that people had probably were sitting in the green from the day before, from the initial news coming out of it beating earnings and the initial price jump. So there's gonna be people who are gonna close their position and exit the trade. And when people are going to sell their shares, there's going to be a sell-off, and the sell-off is going to trigger a drop. And as you can see, I got screwed up. It dipped. I don't even know why I waited like this. Like this is like, must have been a lot of pride, a lot of just hoping it was going to go up. Because if I had put a proper plan in place and stop loss, clearly at this point or even once it went past yesterday's close, there should have been like some type of stop loss in place. But I guess what happened is I thought that here would be a support point and go back up. And as I said in my notes, there was a time where I was actually in the green a bit, but kept waiting, my mind just wasn't in the right spot overall after just losing so much money. And then boom, pulls back huge, and then I got out right near the bottom there. Those are my trades for the first month, guys. I'm gonna, like I said, let me know if you like this type of content, if you want to see me do it monthly. I probably will just do this monthly anyways, just because I enjoy being able to talk about this and kind of put my track record out there, just so it allows me to go back and review it, be consistent with it, and just give it a sober thought rather than just kind of glancing over it, because since I have to put it out in video format, it makes me look back at it with a different set of eyes, I guess. So yeah, overall, my second month, I'm going to be honest right now, will be losses again, but I'm not going to call it right now because anything can happen, but I'm quite confident that it will not be this amount. I did have some pretty heavy blows at the start of my second month, but I'm at a point now where these risky plays are not being done so often. So yeah, with the PHUN, that was my first day of live trading, so I was trying to do a little scalp around the jumps and the drops, and I couldn't short, so I was kind of limited. And then with Twitter, I just made multiple wrong calls and just held it overnight. So both of those were complete amateur mistakes. Trying to scalp on my first day of live trading without even being able to short, and then with Twitter holding it overnight. I hope you got something from this video. I will be putting out more information in the future regarding how I ended up with interactive brokers and the platform itself, Trader Workstation. I know this video probably ended up being a lot longer than I intended it to be, so if you stay till the end, I mess with you. Be back soon.
Got an angel face or ugly or whatever, depends on the angle. I'm a damn animal without eating no animals. These days I'm feeling more like a cannibal.